what's up guys, Bradley here with TechXCentral.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Lenovo Y410p gaming multimedia laptop. I recently got this a couple weeks ago, so I've been testing it out so I can give you guys my full-on review of it and my opinions on the laptop itself. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the review. So the model that I have of the Y410p is the best model that they offer. It's the 59369917 model, and it runs at about $1,300 depending on when you buy it. Usually Lenovo has these sales going on and you can pick it up for like $1,100. But luckily for me, I got it on eBay for only around $900, and it was new too, so it was a really great deal. So if you're looking for this model, I'd suggest going on eBay or maybe some other site before going on to the actual manufacturer's website, because it's a little bit more expensive, and you can even find a better deal at Best Buy or something. But if you want to, you can buy it at Lenovo.com. So going over some of the specs, it has some really great specs in here. We got a 4th generation Core i7 quad-core processor running at 2.4 gigahertz. This is the latest processor from Intel. It's the Haswell chip. It's really great and it runs awesome. And then going into the graphics, we have a GeForce GT 750M. It is an amazing graphics card, especially on a laptop like this. It has 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory, and it runs awesome with basically any game it can run, and maybe medium to high settings. And then for memory, we have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which you can actually upgrade to 16 gigabytes, just like really any other laptop out there. But 8 gigabytes, it's not that great, but it does the job. Going into the hard drive, I really like this combo that they did. So they have a 1 terabyte, 5400 RPM, plus a 24 gigabyte SSD. The SSD runs really well, and I really like that they added that in there for this model. And of course, you can get your model without an SSD, but I recommend getting the ones with SSD. And if you don't, you can't really add an additional hard drive to for the SSD, because it's really hard to find one of these micro SSDs that they offer here in this model. But yeah, those are some of the specs. One thing to note about this model is that the network card is not that great. It's a wireless N2230 by Intel. It's pretty old and it doesn't offer some of the latest speeds you can get with some routers, but it works pretty good, and hopefully maybe in one of their next future models we'll get a better network card. So with the specs out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the connectors here on the laptop, or the I/O ports, whatever you want to call them. But here in the left side, we have one USB 3.0 port, as well as an HDMI out, a Ethernet, as well as a VGA port. In the front of the laptop, we have a 6-in-1 card reader, so that can read SD cards, SDHC, SDXC, MMC, MS, and MS Pro cards. It's a really great card reader, and I really like that it's on the front instead of on the sides, because it offers easier access. On the right side, we have 2 times USB 2.0 ports. One is actually going to be always on, and that means you can plug in a device and you can charge it whether or not the laptop is on, which is a really awesome feature that they have on here. And on the right side, there is also the Blu-ray drive. And in your case, it could be a DVD-RW drive, whatever you choose to configure in your model. And the great thing about this side over here is that that Blu-ray drive is also where the Ultra Bay is. So you can take out that Blu-ray drive and put in another graphics card or put in another hard drive in there. So it's really nice to see the user upgrade abilities in this laptop, which I really do enjoy on laptops. So now we got everything out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the laptop itself and see how it performs in the real world with some gaming tests, as well as some geek benchmarks, so we can go ahead and see if this is a really powerful laptop and it's ultimately a great bang for your buck. So I know that my subscribers love to watch some Minecraft, and I put Minecraft on this baby to see how well it performs, and I booted it up, and as you guys can see, it gets about 60 to 120 FPS running on this laptop, which is pretty good. You don't really need anything more than 60 FPS, and I really enjoy playing Minecraft on this laptop. The keyboard and touchpad are pretty easy to use, and they make it an overall enjoyable experience for this game. So the next game that I loaded up is The Amazing Spider-Man, and the great thing about this game is is the way you know if it's running well is if it reaches 60 FPS, because 60 FPS is the max amount of frames per second you can get on this game, and when you reach that, you know that your machine is really awesome. So if you guys can see here, the game runs really great, and it's on the maximum settings you can put on it, and it does get around 60 FPS. It gets actually above 60 FPS, like 62 FPS, so it runs really well, and I do enjoy playing games like this on my laptop. So for the final game that I'm going to be showing you guys, it's going to be The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and I recently got this for only about $20 on Steam, so I said, hey, might as well put this in the review video, as this is one of the most popular games there is, and it's one of the most graphically intense games. So going on, taking a look at it, I have it on the best settings you can have, so ultra settings, and it runs perfectly. I get an average of 40 FPS to even around 80 FPS or so, and it runs amazingly well. I love playing on my laptop, but the best way to play it for me is to export the video using an HDMI cord up to my 24-inch monitor, and I play Skyrim doing that with an Xbox 360 controller, and it runs like a beast, and I really enjoy playing Skyrim on there. So those were the only games that I got to test on my laptop, but it should handle almost any game up to medium to ultra settings, and if there is a game that I didn't check out and you want me to do so, go ahead, go to my website, techexcentral.com, and submit a form where you just ask me what game you want me to play on there, so you guys can see how well it performs with that game. So like all good things, there has to be some cons to it, and in this laptop, in my opinion, the cons are the keyboard and the trackpad. While overall the laptop feels very premium and it looks nice and it feels nice, the touchpad and the keyboard just don't meet up to those standards. The keyboard itself has a nice look to it, but when you get down to touching it and using it as you're typing, it just doesn't feel that great. It feels kind of plasticky and just doesn't meet that premium feeling. I especially don't like it when I'm pressing down, I'm typing, and then all of a sudden it doesn't get that keystroke that I just typed, so I have to redo that key and hit it again. Same thing goes for that trackpad. When I touch the trackpad on the left side or the right side, I have to touch it maybe multiple times for it to actually register that click. But if you're going to be using it for a gaming machine, you most likely won't be using the trackpad, so you'd be using an external mouse or an external gamepad, so I definitely recommend doing that if you're going to be gaming. But overall, the keyboard and trackpad just aren't that great, and I've seen a lot better in my experience with laptops. So to end off this review, I loaded up Geekbench here on the laptop, and I decided to test it out to see what score it gets and compare it to other laptops that are in the same kind of price range that this laptop is in. So the score that I ended up with is in the 10,000s, which is really good for the price range that this laptop is in. Comparing this laptop to a MacBook Pro, the newest version of the MacBook Pro, they only get around 5,000 to 6,000 score here on Geekbench. And when you get a 10,000 score like this, it really shows that this laptop is a powerhouse machine. And MacBook Pros are not slow machines, they're really fast. And when you get a 6,000 score and you compare that to a 10,000, you can definitely see that this laptop is very powerful. So thanks for watching, guys. That's my review of the Lenovo Y410p gaming laptop. Overall, it's a great machine and I definitely recommend it, but for the price of $1,300, I would recommend trying to find an external source instead of going to the Lenovo websites. Anyways, guys, I hope you appreciated this review, and if you did, leave a like, as it means a lot to me, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one.